spread?
No, I think like 11-5. 11-5, I think ends up being
That's incredible.
The one here.
The one that I saw that you did drop was you took the Pats.
I did. Yeah, of course that's going to be the one that you're going to pay attention to. Listen.
I was sweating it a bit. I won't lie.
What I was going to say.
I won't lie.
Yo, NFL Week 1, though, like, I love it. It's like, I say these two things, and people that know me know that I do a challenge pod. So obviously I always say the first episode of a brand new season of the challenge, like the old school MTV challenge, is like the best thing on television, right?
Oh, it's like scouting, right? Yeah.
For sure. But week 1 of the NFL season, it's just like on Sunday morning, I did the Canada-US game at like 4:45 a.m., came home at I think 8:30, 9 o'clock, slept, put my alarm for 11:30 a.m., woke up, then did all the you make sure your fantasy roster's set, you're getting all your bets in, I'm making sure my red zone is working properly. I see the link is there, everything's good. You're making sure just everything is just ready to go. And I wasn't tired. I was just on an adrenaline high.
The natural energy of 7 hours of commercial-free football courses through your veins.
Let's be honest, though. It was kind of underwhelming.
I'm glad you said this because I'm going to go the other way. I don't understand how when people are always like, the 1 o'clocks are really bad. I'm like, there is red zone. Yeah. Meaning you're just bouncing around to everything that is going on. And that does it for me. we talked about this earlier. I got the 2 TV setup now, right? So I got my Niners up, which Niners stand up, Niners gang. A lot of slander being tossed the Niners way.
I don't know about
the Steelers are going to take care of business against them in week 1.
Bringing up the Steelers. A lot of people were excited about Pickett after the preseason, but you know what? That's preseason. Ain't when the chips are on the table.
I'll stick to what I said on the Clutch Picks pod. The Niners are who the Steelers want to be, but they're not there yet.
They're not there yet.
I got the Niners on one screen. I got red zone on the other screen, and it's just like, what more do I need? And then I want to ask you guys this because I want to ask you guys what your setup is on an NFL Sunday, especially for week 1 when it's hype and highly anticipated. But the red zone, I got my team up, I got the laptop up, I got my phone handling all the bets that are going on. It's just I'm in an overload of information that it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't really matter what's happening in the games. I don't know what a bad game is because I'm just paying attention to this team scored, that person got a touchdown. Ooh, he threw an interception. And there's some implication to either a bet, my fantasy team. It's just what a time to be alive. That's what I'm saying. 1:15 on Sunday. I'm just sitting back this is great.
So for me, like you, it all depends on where my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, are playing. Mm-hmm. So if they're playing on Sunday, they were playing the late game, right? So 1 o'clock, I'm good. I got red zone on the TV, playing with my little girl. I'm also got the phone going for some tweets to fire off, check the fantasy scores, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. Then at the 4 o'clock games, we're going to take red zone and we're going to put it on the phone. And then we're going to put the Eagles game up on the big screen. So we still know what's going on everywhere else, but we still got the Eagles up. Now, the problem was at 4 o'clock, I don't have time shift on cable. So all I had to choose from was Rams, Seahawks, or Dolphins, Chargers.
Okay.
So I was not happy, but I had my red zone going for my birds.
Yeah.
And basically had the Dolphins game. Now, you say that it was a terrible week 1. No. The 1 o'clock games may not have been amazing, but the 4 o'clock games were, they were kick ass, man. Those were some good ass games. That Dolphins Chargers game was everything that I wanted it to be and more, man. That was great.
The Chargers
this comes
are
from
always
somebody
going to be the Chargers
who drafted Tyreek Hill.
I'm not saying it's bad.
You draft Tyreek, you log off. Bang. That's it.
I'm not saying week 1 is bad. I'm just saying it was a little underwhelming. There was a lot to look forward to, and then all the 1 o'clocks, they're fine. Whatever. 4 o'clocks were great. 4 o'clocks were so good.
We got 16 more weeks, Timmy. 16 more weeks.
Have you guys noticed that? No, go on, Timmy.
That's too bad you didn't get to watch my guy Jimmy G put in work without the time shift. You couldn't watch the Raiders game.
Listen, the Raiders were one of my choices, but you know what? They did not make it to the main screen.
No, that's too bad. I was in the newsroom for week 1. So the game plan is always to find the dead zone where no one is sitting and there's a bunch of TVs.
Yeah. And did somebody order pizza?
No one ordered pizza. It's different times. It's different times.
Can we reminisce for a second here? And I'm going to take a second to reminisce. One of the things that I fell in love with in this industry early on in my career, and Webby will attest to this, was when we used to do Sunday NFL Blitz on the Score. First off, it was ahead of its time because it's before Red Zone, but it's like as close to Red Zone as you could get for where we were technology-wise. But beyond all that, I want to give a shout out to the vibes of just what the newsroom was at that point. What a time to be alive, indeed. First off, everyone's coming in and they would order us pizza. There's pizza there every single Sunday, and everyone's got their Pro Line tickets ready to go. Everyone's just in a hype mood cheering for your team, and everyone's working hard. And like the food being there makes sense because you can't really leave because we had to get highlight packs in for the top and bottom of every single hour until 6 o'clock. And it was busy, but it was NFL and you're having fun. And just like everyone just in such a good mood. Like that didn't feel like work. I feel like Cab back in the day used to describe it as it was like high school when we were getting paid. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're there having fun with your friends, you're watching sports, right?
I always said that I always said it was like getting paid for doing what I'd be doing at home.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I'm coming into work and spending that time with all my I'm spending time with my friends. I'm talking shit about football. Having a good meal. But I'm also putting in work to make the best packs, and crafting the story, really delving in, and getting paid for it. It was like NFL Sundays made that job as great as I thought it was. I mean, that's what I lived for. That first Sunday, showing up at, the games don't start till 1. I'm showing up 10:30, 11, making sure that I got the seat that I want. I got my notes going. I've got I've got the birds. The birds are playing. I've got the birds. And then I've got the best 4 o'clock game. Those are the two things that I'm doing. This is at Sportsnet. That's what I'm doing. And I am so locked in, so focused. Oh, it was great. I did my best work on Sundays for sure.
You know how it's a different era now? No red zone in the newsroom.
No red zone in the well, they just took it out?
What do you mean? It's not on a channel?
Well, because it's not on a channel anymore, right? You can only get it through TSN
They didn't put it on one of the TVs on in any in-house.
There's something that I could say, but I'm just not going to go down that road.
Don't get fired. Don't get fired.
But
I didn't even know if I wanted to bring it up, honestly. But you know what?
Listen,
it's good reminiscing,
There's a huge debate there's a huge debate though in the streets about people liking red zone or not liking red zone.
Yeah,
I feel like I love it. Like I don't understand how it's not my sole primary focus. Like as I said, I still got, you got the option of watching whatever actual game, but in terms of a secondary screen, that's perfect. What else could you need than to keep up with your fantasy teams, your bets, and all that stuff? But I wanted to ask you guys something because a couple weeks ago when I jumped on the pod late, you guys were talking about gambling and betting. And I was listening to the pod afterwards. You guys told me make sure you go back and listen to the beginning. Yeah. I love that conversation you guys were having about gambling because for me, I always feel like I hate just throwing out random stuff, talking about gambling and not getting to talk about the fact that I want people to know, okay, I talk about gambling a lot, but we're talking about lunch money and the responsible side of it because of how messed up things are portrayed on TV or on our social media accounts.
Sorry. I blew the wrong way.
Smoke into the microphone again. Webby, man. You know you have there's a mute button, right?
I know. I know.
So good. So good. No, but I'm just saying the gambling side of it, it's so interesting because there's so many opportunities and so much talk about sports right now is surrounding gambling. And I just always think, I always think it's obvious that people are just betting their lunch money, but it's like, I gotta remind people that oh, maybe it isn't that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be out there as if yo, man, I mean,
you're making racks.
Won last night. The picks are good and whatever. But listen, anytime you're talking about the people who are the best at it being at 55%, right? That should be a reminder to you that it's probably not a good idea to be out here betting racks if you don't have racks to lose. Right.
Or if you're already down racks and you're trying to win those racks back. That's where you get in trouble, man. When you start chasing.
Can't be chasing.
Yeah,
can't be out here in the streets chasing. But you mentioned the other pod, the picks. Picks are off to a good start. Just trying to stay above water, as we always say, right? And get off to a good start.
Did you have the Jets last night?
No, I was on the Bills last night.
Man,
but
4 plays.
I'll say this though, man. That's a bet where, and this is one of the lessons. I don't mind losing that bet, right? Because now I'm learning about the Bills going forward. Right now, I'm learning about the Jets going forward. If you're the Bills and you can't cover 3.5 against the Jets without Aaron Rodgers,
with Zach Wilson throwing the ball around,
right? I thought the Bills were frauds coming into this season, but I also thought that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets were frauds, right? I just thought that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets were more frauds. And so here we are. And I mean, the Jets, I don't know if there could be a more heartbreaking start to a season. What happened.
I'm trying to because we do this all the time. We contextualize what has happened with what's happened in the past. Oh, this is when this happened. There's one name that comes up and you're going to be that kind of can put this into perspective. And it's with the same team, with the New York Jets. But to go out and spend money like you did on Aaron Rodgers and to basically, they didn't really mortgage their future, but they've definitely put a lot behind bringing this guy in. And now you're basically, that's all gotten erased. You're back to square one. That the only other time that I can think of something like this happening was with the Jets back in the late 90s with Neil O'Donnell.
Was it Vinny? Vinny Testaverde getting blowing
and then
blowing
Vinny
out?
Came up. But it was Neil O'Donnell that they spent all that money on to get him from the Steelers, signed him to a huge contract in the offseason. I'm not even sure he made it to the game. It might have happened in training camp or the preseason, but boom, he was gone. And that was his career. And this is kind of where we're at with Aaron Rodgers. Now, do you guys think that we will see Aaron Rodgers play professional football in the NFL again?
No. I mean, if he has an Achilles, to me, the thing with the Achilles is that it's going to be at least a year. And now you're talking about him being able to play quarterback at 40. How old is Aaron Rodgers?
He's 40 now, right?
It's just not a good look for them. And the other part about all this was just the fact that it was 9/11, the fact that they have him with the American flag coming out in this heroic type scene. They're painting this picture of Aaron Rodgers running out with the flag, and my guy laughs. Yeah, it couldn't be more it's almost like you watch the Giants game the night before and think, man, that's a terrible way to start your home season. And the Jets are hold my beer. Right?
But they won the game.
I know, but if they're, how sometimes people will do the winners and losers segments at each week, you know, who won the week, who lost the week. It's almost like the Jets are both, right? The Jets, they won the game, which was a crazy game, which Hail Mary shot, I can't lie to you guys, threw out Jets to win in OT, as the game was going to OT.
Yeah.
Hail Mary shot.
Wonderful.
That's great win.
Shouldn't have done it. Should have been called back with the trip.
They were going to be at the
Clear
30-yard line. They would have kicked a field goal and won anyways. Get out of here. But the point I'm making though, right, is that the Jets, yes, they won the game. Cool. But your season hopes, what do you think their season outlook is now if you don't have Aaron Rodgers? And the side part to that is, who can they bring in to support Zach Wilson because there's no way you can think that you're riding with Zach Wilson and that's it for the whole season.
So, I mean, this is the question that I wanted to pose. So you talk about the 3 New York teams: Buffalo, Jets, Giants. Going forward, rank them.
Well, Bills, Jets, Giants.
You think that the Jets are above the Giants, and they've announced that they're going with Zach Wilson as their starter?
Yeah. The Giants are not. Hold on. Did you not watch the Giants?
I know, and I have to come onto this pod. I have to come onto this pod
last week, and I tried to tell you.
I know.
I tried to tell you last week. What are we talking about?
I know, but we're only a game in, and Dallas. I mean, I was wrong on Dallas and the Jets. Dallas looks really, really good. I don't know if the Giants. I mean, the Giants didn't lose anybody in that game that was very important. They can. It doesn't matter if you lose 40-0 or you lose by a point. It's a loss. There's still 16 more weeks. They still have their starting running back, who's one of the best in the league, and they still have their starting quarterback, who's definitely not one of the best in the league, and they've got their entire starting defense still there. Not every game will be
fraud coach of the year, Dable. Should have been my guy Sirianni last year.
Hey, let's go. What I'm saying is that I think I might put the Giants ahead of where the Jets are. I think the Jets.
But hold on. But what does that matter? Let's talk about the Jets and where they are for their season alone. Like, forget about the Giants. The Giants are in your crappy division. They're going to come in last or second last and not make the playoffs. So that doesn't matter. But I'm saying the Jets, like, where do you see their season, right? Like, can they survive? Like, if you looked at the preseason rankings, it went Bills, Jets, then it went Bills, Dolphins, then Jets.
But people were putting Jets. Some people were putting Jets ahead of the Dolphins and ahead.
That's what I'm saying. They had Super Bowl goals coming into this year,
based on having one of the best, like a generational quarterback. Okay. And now they go back to Zach Wilson, somebody that they have. It's not like we've never seen Zach Wilson play. Zach Wilson got a legit shot last year, and he's not good.
So should they try to bring in someone else to support Zach Wilson? And if so, who?
Who's out there?
So there's a list. You got like Carson Wentz. You got your man's Carson Wentz.
My boy.
You got your man's Cam Newton.
Cam. God, I do love Cam, but I don't. It's like, but that's the thing. Like Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz. Like
Tom Brady is not coming out of retirement.
To play for the
first
Jets.
off, he'd have to like sell his stocks that he just got in the Raiders, which why would he do that? Right? Doesn't really make sense. But like, do you make a trade? You know, I always think about
trade.
Okay, so free agents, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. Do you try to bring back Matt Ryan, who's not officially retired? No,
I saw him in the booth on Sunday. I thought he was retired.
He said he's not officially retired. Officially, I don't know what that means.
Phillip Rivers is coach in high school down in Alabama.
Phil Rivers, man, that story would have been so crazy if Phil Rivers
you bring that up as a Niners fan.
Yeah, because the story was, people who don't know, it came out that if the Niners somehow made it past the Eagles.
They didn't.
Yeah, they had no quarterback. We've
been over past the Eagles.
We've been over this. But if they did, Phil Rivers would have tried to get Phil Rivers to play in the Super Bowl for them, which is that would have been amazing. I wish they would have brought Phil Rivers back the week before just in case. But yeah, I mean, do you try to trade for someone like Tyler Huntley, maybe Trubisky, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew? Like, listen, hold on. Are those people not better than Zach Wilson?
I mean,
yeah, right?
Yeah, they are.
Or do you just let your season go down the drain? Like what? Like you just ride it out again and be like, hey, we got this dope ass defense that we're gonna try to just win games with our defense.
Pretty solid running game.
That Zach Wilson doesn't fuck it up. He could just be a game manager because we saw their running game looked really good though.
It's like they weren't trusting Zach Wilson to make throws. I know that even the Garrett Wilson incredible touchdown. There was like it's supposed to be back shoulder, it was front shoulder. It was the wrong shoulder. Like, and then I thought Aikman did a really good job last night of pointing out that like they had Garrett Wilson on an island, 1-on-1, with a guy who was not Buffalo's number one cornerback, and the Jets weren't trusting Zach Wilson to even attempt to throw that ball.
Yep.
I don't know if you can win. Like, I know you can't win without having that aspect of your game.
Okay.
So that's why I would put the Giants ahead of the Jets in my New York football team rankings. Just because the Giants, I know they look dog shit. I know their offensive line looked like Swiss cheese, but at least they didn't lose their most important player.
Danny Dimes, yeah. I mean,
Danny Dimes ain't it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and
he's
they paid
barely
him.
better than Zach Wilson.
They paid him.
They did, unfortunately. Anything else that like you must talk about from week 1 of the NFL season?
Oh, must talk about what happened.
No, you just want to talk about Coach Prime winning again.
It's honestly, it's the best sports story going on right now. It is incredible. Like, it can't be understated how wild what he's doing in Colorado is. Colorado has been irrelevant for 3 decades, and it's a pretty prestigious program. They used to be quite good and would compete for national championships. And Coach Prime, since he got in the game, since he joined, was it Jackson State in the lower league? Since he showed up there, everybody
don't
was
diss
trying.
The HBCUs.
No. Well, I mean,
like
but the HBCUs play in. It's not FBS. I think it's FCS, right? All those HBCUs, they play in that lower division. So since he showed up to Jackson State, people have been trying to bury Prime, saying he can't. He's a crook. He's a charlatan. He's just a big talker. He can't do anything like this.
Every other college coach that exists.
And then Dillon used the transfer. He's obviously a smart guy because he has figured out this transfer portal better than any other coach in college football has.
Hold on. That's reading too deep into it. It's Deion Sanders recruiting football players, right? Like, all the transfer portal is about is just recruiting. And who's going to be a better recruiter than Deion Sanders? If you're a college kid, right? Hey, come play on my team. Who's going to be a better recruiter? You're going to go
for a team with no chips. For a team with no chips. For a team, he was coaching a team in Jackson State that was on TV twice last year, and definitely not on ABC or ESPN.
It's still Deion Sanders, man, and he's doing a lot more. He obviously with his son obviously being on social media, the whole social media presence. These guys were doing a reality show while they were at Jackson State, which obviously continues now when they're at Colorado. Like, he's thinking beyond just the normal, hey, here are our 10-game schedule against whoever. Like, he's out here recruiting, trying to blow up your presence, blow up your standing to try to get you further along in your career, whether you can make it to the NFL or not, but also boosting the program within that. And listen, man, what he's done, that's a massive risk to recruit like that and bring in, what was it? Like, what's the total names? Like 50 something new players.
He cycled through the entire, there's only like 4 or 5 guys that returned.
So that's a huge risk to do so, right? But it also is a testament to how bad Colorado was beforehand. And to have, you're right, you start out 2-0, that's amazing. And this is a great story. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool, and we should just enjoy it. I think people are going to go too far in terms of people talking about, of course, Hunter's going to win the Heisman, and can they get to the national championship game? And we're going to do all these things instead of just being like, yo, man, it's cool. Killer Cam was on the sidelines of their game. Did you see that? That was Joe. I
just think it's such an awesome disruption to how college football has been practiced over the last 10, 20 years. There are incredible recruiters out there. Guys like Saban, who have been there forever. Guys like Jim Harbaugh, who have now been there for a very long time at programs that compete for national championships year in, year out. Mm-hmm. And Dillon, whether you say it's about just his name or the bright lights or whatever, has come into this space and completely disrupted it, showing that this can be done. Programs that have been in the shitter for years and years and years can be brought up. You just have to put, there is a little bit of risk out there. You have to, put your, put your money and things behind guys like Deion Sanders. And he's proven that if you're smart enough about it,
I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck. The reality of what's going on here is Deion Sanders is showing what happens when you give a black man in college sports an opportunity. A guy like Deion Sanders, you see all these stories all the time about different college coaches getting these jobs that they don't deserve and getting a whole bunch of money that they don't deserve. And meanwhile, Deion Sanders has to go to start off at a Jackson State because that's the only place he can get a head coaching gig, right? Then he has to go to Colorado, which you're mentioning, not really a Power 5 school, right? But they used to be, on that level. They're bordering around there, hovering around there. But I'm saying at the point now, Deion has to go to Colorado, whereas you have other guys that just walk into jobs and it's wait, how did you get that job? Right. And now Deion comes in and obviously he can be a recruiter. Obviously there's a way that you can put, if you're really worried about the coaching angles of it, you can support him with, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, but who's going to be a better recruiter or a better hype man to get your college kids ready in the locker room than speeches from primetime, right? This makes too much sense. And Deion Sanders, all the things that people are the naysayers or the haters that they're going to be mad at him for, saying he's playing in a dirty pool and doing things differently in terms of recruiting kids from other teams, getting them to come to his team. That's all shit that shiesty white college coaches have already been doing for years and years and years and years.
Sport's predicated on.
Exactly. Deion is just now, because he's being able to exploit it because of his name, because he has a better understanding of the culture, and kids are going to want to play for him more because of that reason. Who's going to be more cool coming into your house recruiting you? Deion Sanders or your boy Matt Rule, right? What are we talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? So
okay. But there's also Deion Sanders and Nick Saban and his 8 national championships.
Cool. And Deion has to start somewhere, and that's what we're seeing right now. And it's 2 wins in. I'm saying let's enjoy where we're at and enjoy the jokes and enjoy the shit talking and enjoy these moments, because who knows what's going to happen for the rest of this season, but it's going to be a fun ride. And Timmy, you can probably help me out with this, but following the gambling lines and just seeing how a team went from having an over under wins total number that was 3? I think it was to start the year. And then now in your second game of the season, you've now become your favorites in the game. That doesn't really make sense, but it's just funny watching the swing and watching all the talking heads prove that it's college football. Nobody really knows anything, right? It's kids we're talking about. Just enjoy the ride.
I think it should be celebrated. And I think that what Deion is doing with this program that's been dying to be good at football again, and have a guy like Deion come in and, like you say, do things that, white college coaches have been doing forever. To be doing that and to see this success, we should be all behind Prime and Colorado to do really well, and to be 4-0 after beating Colorado State this weekend and then Oregon next weekend. Dude, USC Colorado on September 30th. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
You're muted, Timmy.
Hago, you're muted.
That might be the biggest football game this month. USC Colorado. Football best football game this month is going to be that game.
15 million people will watch it. If Colorado stays undefeated and USC stay undefeated and they meet at that game, oh my God.
Is that game's at USC? I'm guessing
at USC, yeah. I think I gotta check, but I think so.
It's in Colorado.
It's at home. Holy shit. But I think it's late, right? I think it's like a 10 o'clock start, or is it an 8 o'clock
TBD. It might get flexed to like.
Oh, it'll get flexed. That'll be game of the week. There'll be Herbie and Fowler will be there for sure. I can't wait. I think he's frozen. The Dion talk got him too fired up.
Yeah.
That's good while he's gone. Timmy. While he's gone. Dillon Brooks.
Yeah.
Dillon Brooks has ruined international basketball for every other country.
Why?
Fucking LeBron saw that shit.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron saw that shit, and he was like, he's picking up the phone, picking up the bat phone, getting the Justice League together, getting the Avengers together.
Shelly's so mad about that.
No. I'm not mad about. This was the most Timmy, didn't we talk about this on Saturday?
This was the most predictable thing. As soon as the U.S. lost to not go to the finals, this was happening. They were going to lose to Canada or Serbia or whoever. They were going to lose that third place game, and LeBron was going to get on the phone and say, "We're going to Paris." I thought, like, we kind of talked about this a little bit, Shelly. Like, I don't know. These guys are getting kind of old. I don't know if Durant. I don't know if LeBron. But no, they're getting the band together.
Timmy, true or not true? On Saturday before the game, we were working together, and I was like, "Hey, can we do this B-roll?" And it was a roll of Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James playing in the USA jersey. And we had the conversation then. I'm like, we know exactly what's going to happen. LeBron is going to be like, oh, he's going to come back to save USA basketball. We can see the narrative being painted already, where they're going to have to beg LeBron to come back and play, and he's going to be the savior. And that's going to be one of his things that he's going to try to, put into his I'm better than Michael Jordan thing. I saved USA basketball. We already know where this is going. So that was not a surprise. I love the fact, though, that like at this point, Shams and Woj might as well just be signed to Clutch Sports and like whatever other agency, because that's all you're doing at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to get into the serious story, but like the Kevin Porter Jr. thing happens, and I don't really want to. I'm not getting into that at all. I'm saying something real happens in basketball. Woj and Shams, do they say anything about it? Is there any comment made? Is there any
Porter
tweet
a Clutch
made?
Client?
No, but I don't know. But I'm just saying.
That'd be interesting.
Right? I'm just saying magically these guys have nothing to say about that. And you're newsbreakers, right? And you got nothing there. But when it's nothingness or just something to blatantly promote some agency's client, front of the line, here comes Shams and Woj. LeBron, and come on. LeBron James has reached out already to these guys.
As soon as he saw Dillon Brooks smiling, and he was texting Steph Curry.
Listen,
he was like, "What is it? It's my favorite in Belly. I forget what the guy's name is. The guy who's eating the bananas." He's like, "We didn't have to drop a dime on them."
Yes, Belly. What an under.
But I think
so
this
good.
just helps Webby's point last week, saying that this World Cup didn't matter.
No. This
tournament wasn't a basketball tournament. It was a motivational tool.
This is the opposite of what Webby was saying, because it showed.
Do you
think that those headlines, if Dillon Brooks doesn't drop 39 points on Team USA, can we just hold on. If I were to tell you, we talked about this last week. If I was to tell you that Dillon Brooks is going to drop 39 on Team USA and USA was going to lose to Canada in the bronze medal game,
I would ask to check the roster for Team USA.
Right? But
I would ask you to give me that. If you had told me Dillon Brooks dropped 39 points against the USA, the first question I would ask you was, who was playing for the USA?
Right.
Because dropping 39 on that team, who had all NBA players up and down it, no question about it, is different than dropping 39 on, Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Draymond Green, Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid. I hope he plays for Team USA. I'm gonna be the first. You got the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Canada jersey. This guy is getting a Joel Embiid Team USA jersey. First one that comes off the press. 100%.
Hey man, Joel Embiid is one of those guys. It's the only way he's going to win anything.
100%.
Jumping on a
He ain't winning for the
USC
Sixers. I'll tell you that. He's not winning for the Sixers.
This is what LeBron needs, though. He needs for his Last Dance documentary, he needs the Dillon Brooks smiling and dropping 39 on Team USA. He needs Dennis Schroeder holding up the trophy to put in his doc, and then he comes in as the triumphant king and takes over and gives gold to USA.
A master of the narrative, of controlling his own narrative. The master at it. No athlete we have seen in the history of sports has controlled and molded their own narrative and their own legacy like LeBron James. And this is just another example of it.
Listen, man, Dillon Brooks, we got to give Dillon Brooks a whole lot of credit because...
For sure. No, the whole Canadian team for what they did. We talked about this last week. They did exactly, even though they didn't win, they did exactly what they needed to do.
They won a medal. They won a bronze medal. Don't say they didn't win anything. It's hard to medal at these
won a Canadian gold
at these competitions.
Don't fuck with the Team Canada that's going for bronze. Because that is like fucking the 1986 Boston Celtics. If you face a Team Canada in any sport that's competing for bronze, just give up. Give them the win.
Nothing like the whole squad pose with Canadian gold around your neck. It was pretty hard. It was pretty hard.
If you squint, Timmy, it kind of looks gold. But
see, this is why everyone hates the U.S. Webster's whole shtick right now is why everyone hates the U.S. around the world, right? Listen, the U.S. had a chance to win this game. The U.S. had a chance to win this tournament. They decided again to bring Austin Reeves and Josh Hart, and Villanova's whole 2015 team to this Olympic tournament.
Won the chip.
Right.
LeBron sent Austin there to take a fall, man. Yeah. LeBron sent him there to take a fall.
And like a good lieutenant, that's what Austin did. He went in and he took the bullet.
We can't say that they didn't win anything. We can't make jokes about a bronze medal. This is international high level. No. This is a high level international tournament, and it is difficult to win. Now, the fact that the U.S. doesn't take it that seriously or only bring dudes sometimes, that's their problem. If they want to take L's, that's on them. Canada winning bronze is a big deal, especially when you're talking about, first off, you've never medaled at a World Cup event. You haven't won a medal at a major international tournament since 1936. That is a big deal. I'm not going to let you guys downplay this and talk to me about shitty Austin Reeves and Mikal Bridges and no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's a Canadian heritage moment, Dillon Brooks. That's a Canadian heritage moment, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropping your man's Mikal Bridges, who comes over to play help defense and ends up on his ass. And
so in terms of Canadian, Canadian golds won. In terms of Canadian
Stop
gold,
talking
in
about
the Olympics,
Canadian gold. They won a bronze medal
in international competition in Canadian golds. This ranks pretty high.
I'm not letting you do this, man. I'm not letting you try to downplay this because it's just not. No, they won a bronze medal. It's difficult to do so.
For sure,
it is
Austin
very
Reeves
hard to
couldn't do it.
It's a different style.
Mikal Bridges couldn't do it, man.
When was the last? Who was on the last U.S. World Cup team that also lost?
I don't know.
Jason Tatum was on that team, and that's your problem.
I know who was on the last Olympic basketball team that they won gold,
and they barely
won. On that team,
and they barely
won gold.
They did.
Did they win gold?
Did they lose in the tournament?
Of course they lost in the tournament.
Okay. Well, listen, my point
hold on. Did they win a gold medal at the last? I don't understand.
My point is, you're making my point for me. I'm saying that it's not easy to win.
Hold on. You're telling me not to denigrate Team Canada winning a bronze medal in a FIBA World Cup. And in the same breath, you're like, well, they barely won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Because my point is that it's difficult to do. So you need to celebrate the accomplishments when they come around.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
And I think, you're absolutely right. And we should be celebrating the progression that Team Canada is making in basketball, for sure. My point is that it is going to be a very different situation when the chips are on the table for the biggest basketball tournament internationally in the world.
Listen, man, I'm not playing this whole USA narrative thing where they get to paint the picture and be like, well, this tournament counts, but that tournament doesn't, but this one does, but that one doesn't. But then magically it's going to count again when it's in LA. But, the next time isn't going to count because it's in
I think
Dubai
it's pretty consistent that Team USA basketball prioritizes winning Olympic gold.
Yes, that is totally cool. But my point overall consistently stands by the U.S. doesn't make the rules. The U.S. doesn't get to decide what's important and what's not. Because
LeBron makes the rules.
I was going to say something else there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to.
I was going to say that the NBA really makes the rules.
No, Nike makes the rules.
There's nothing. Well, and Nike, but there's
Nike
nothing
knows that this
the NBA
Olympics
and Nike and the sponsors is for the best players to play on the biggest stage possible. And yes, the FIBA World Cup is a very important basketball tournament, but the truth of the matter is it's not going to get as many eyes as the Olympics are. And so why risk sending the best players that are under contract for your league, for your product that they're that they're advertising? Why risk that by sending these superstar players to a lower level tournament where not as much eyes will be on your product in terms of players or the shoes that they're wearing, right? That's why they don't get sent to Jakarta, not because
that's why
USA basketball doesn't value a medal in FIBA. You're absolutely right. It's because of the NBA and it's because of Nike and the shoes and the whole deal. Of course,
but you can say that, but at the same time, right? The last Olympics was also in Asia, if I'm not mistaken, right? And USA struggled to get people to go to that too.
Again, location was definitely in there, and Paris is a lot different. Sending your players, NBA players, to Paris is a lot different than sending them to China.
But now you're making my point for me.
But the biggest stars still went.
No, they
were
didn't.
healthy.
No, they didn't. The biggest stars, that Team USA Olympic team. Let's look up that Team USA Olympic roster.
Yeah, KD, Booker.
KD was hurt. KD was there.
Draymond, Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum.
Come on. That's not the – come on,
So
bro.
you're missing
You don't
one
have
name.
Steph. You don't have LeBron.
Yeah, Steph.
Come on, bro. Come on, man.
But you know what, though? What I will say is that I think that Canada basketball fans and Canada basketball players should feel really, really good about what LeBron did. Because he obviously thinks that Team Canada is a threat. And obviously thinks that they have a very talented squad and wants to beat that ass. Because he's showing up. And
I can't wait, man.
That's awesome for Team Canada basketball. That's shown how much this team has made steps over the last decade. Over the last 3 years when they wanted to get the players buy-in.
Let me ask you something. Do you think this is more about LeBron's brand or about Team USA's brand? What do you think he cares more about?
Oh, LeBron's brand. Yeah.
Which has to be the most American thing possible for this whole faulty operation that just sums up my point. Totally.
No disagreement there.
Listen, man, USA, as I said this last week, USA can do whatever they want, whatever. Bring LeBron, bring
Steph.
Anytime he gets fired up about Canada basketball.
you know my thoughts on Steph Curry. You will never see anybody be a bigger Steph stan than this guy come the Olympics.
So do you?
I'm going to be doing a little shimmy. I'm going to be buying Aisha's cookbook. I'm going to be Mr. Steph Curry, baby.
Do you want to see them all? You want to see Steph? You want to see KD? You want to see LeBron? You want like the best possible USA team they could put out there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I want to know. Really, what I want to see is them justify making Joel Embiid a part of Team USA. That's really what I want.
Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid.
Really what I want.
Did you see the
proud American Joel Embiid? Yes. Did I see him at the Washington football team game? Yes, I did.
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say, did you see Stephen A. Smith talk about Anthony Davis being on the USA team? Because I think you can take those same thoughts and apply them to Joel Embiid. They need to focus on playing in the NBA before you can talk about playing all these extra games in the summer. How about you save your energy to make sure that you're healthy on the court?
Gas out in game 7.
Exactly. Yeah. How about we focus in on that first before we start talking about playing in the summer and just jumping on a wave trying to get
Joel Embiid will never win an NBA championship, but he can win an Olympic gold medal.
Stop this. He could have won a World Cup medal if he showed up.
I don't know, man. Germany looked pretty good. Canada couldn't. SGA couldn't.
Listen, man. Canada, I'm not going to let you
downplay.
Listen, I'm not going to let you downplay what happened.
I know. I'm just
Team Canada. I know you are, man. Team Canada. What a time to be alive. They won a medal at a major men's basketball tournament, something that, like, again, Steve Nash, that was 2000. That was 23 years ago. That's a long ass time that we've seen them play at a high level and like be good and win games win hard fought games. And that game was incredible. That Mikal Bridges shot he hit to send it to OT was insane. We never see that happen in basketball. Dillon Brooks going, what was he, 7 for 8, I think it was, from 3-point land. That's an insane performance. Shea hitting clutch bucket after clutch bucket. That was just amazing to watch. And to watch these dudes do this in a Canada jersey, you're not going to bring me down off of this. So LeBron can do whatever he wants. LeBron can bring back the Monstars and come play in the Olympics next year. I don't really care. Canada's going to be there. Canada has a great shot to medal. One thing I do want to ask you,
Draymond, I want to see Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks on the court at the same time in international basketball.
Man. Miss me with Draymond, man.
Draymond, you're going to see.
Here's my question for you.
Draymond fan. Let's go, Draymond.
Here's my question for you, though. Team Canada, there's a lot of talk already about what do you do next year? Do you just try to influx a bunch of other NBA dudes on the team, whoever wants to play, or do you ride with some of the guys who have been rocking with your program already the past few years and make sure that, you still have a roster spot for Melvin Edgem? You still have a roster spot for someone like one of the Scrub brothers, whether it's Phil or Tommy Scrub. Yeah. Do you still have a roster spot, for those guys who have been there for you, who said they were going to be there and show up? But now that you're in the Olympics in Paris, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of other guys start coming around now to be like, hey, can I sub in? Can I play?
So it's a really good question, because what does Canada basketball really value? Does it value the long-term game, or does it value short-term gains? Because they could absolutely I think we can really, say, oh, this is when the tide turned. Was it Rowan Barrett who put in the 3-year commitment,
Rowan
or was
Barrett
it
Nick Nurse?
So it was both of them.
Nurse, yeah.
So obviously, even that statement and taking those steps to say, this is the values of Canada basketball, we want you to commit to the country, it really turned the program around. And like you say, we've seen those fruits pay off in this tournament. So it's a good long-term strategy. Olympics are less than a year away. And you could absolutely say, hey, Wiggins, come on. Hey, Canadian basketball player XYZ,
Mathurin,
come on.
Shaden Sharp.
Let's try and make this run and get a medal at this Olympics. Or let's keep this 3-year commitment going. And as we build up the values and the mission of this program, hey, it may not be in Paris, but it may be in 8 years. That now our program is so solid and has played together and knows each other and have tasted success and failures together. Does that make you a stronger team? I think it does. As a Canada basketball fan, would you rather see them open up that door to make a run at a medal in Paris, or would you rather see them really solidify the program with these commitments?
For me, so reading a lot of the quotes that Michael Bartlett, who's the CEO of Canada Basketball, and Jordy Fernandez, who's the head coach, they talked a lot after this win about loyalty. And what Jordy Fernandez said, hey, if other guys want to come on, they got to earn their spot onto this team. Like, there was a commitment that was made to these guys. And I don't know enough about Andrew Wiggins' relationship with Canada basketball to know how that decision went, that he wasn't going to sign up for the 3 years. But I know that the last 2 years, that even though Jamal Murray didn't play, even though Shade only played a little bit leading up to this, right? Like I'm talking about the year before last, those guys still showed up to these Team Canada training camps to show that they were committed to the Paris Olympics. Andrew Wiggins not doing that and adding in the fact that they're holding training camps, spending a lot of money actually to hold these training camps in Vegas, in Toronto, to do these things for these NBA guys to show their commitment, right? To then now have Andrew Wiggins turn around and you're going to take a spot or take minutes from like Dillon Brooks or from Lou Dort. I don't really know if that's fair. I don't know if I rock with that. You know what I mean? And I think that Canada's team we've seen now is good enough to medal without Andrew Wiggins, right? Jamal Murray's another story. As mentioned, he's committed. We already know that he's going to play next year for, barring whatever crazy scenario, he should be with Team Canada next year. But he was part of the commitment. He showed up to their training camp this year, despite the fact that he wasn't going to play. And I think that stuff matters. The loyalty matters. The keeping of your word matters to some of these guys who you call on during the lead up to qualify for the World Cup, right? Melvin Edgem getting on all these flights. That stuff matters. To then turn your back on them because Shaden Sharp, and hypothetically, right, I'm saying, turns around and says, hey, I'm available. I want to play for Canada next year. Are you really going to want to have that guy at the end of your bench as opposed to Melvin Edgem, who you don't have to really play, but he also has international experience, which is very valuable at these tournaments? I don't know, man. Give me Jamal Murray. After that, I understand if they don't take Wiggins. I totally understand that because that's on Wiggins. That's not on Canada basketball. He's going to have to earn his spot on the team if it were me, because I firmly believe in loyalty. I firmly believe in keeping your word, and you're trying to build a program. And what does that say to the other guys that actually kept their word and stayed there the whole time?
Shelly, would you rather have Canada win Olympic gold or the Toronto Raptors win an NBA championship?
They already won an NBA championship.
Second NBA championship.
Oh, I know what he's going to answer.
I'd say probably. What would I? Oh, wow. Because hold on. If Canada won Olympic gold, that would mean that, like, the U.S.
laws
also failed at some point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that they beat the U.S., but there is that possibility there. Oof, I might have to take Olympic gold because we've already seen the Raptors win a championship. Canada
Olympic
winning a gold in men's basketball.
Olympic gold or the Leafs
winning the Stanley Cup.
Come on, Shelly. Come on, Shelly.
Yo, the city might not survive the Leafs winning the Stanley Cup, bro. Like,
come on, Shelly.
Like,
it's the Leafs.
Listen, man.
It's the Leafs.
We're talking about. Listen. I'm with you. I'm on the same page here. Listen,
I know
we're talking
you
about
are.
the Leafs
I know you
winning
are.
the Stanley Cup. Like, that's a thing
Talk all this Canada basketball up and down, but when the chips,
I state it all the time. I'm not a Leafs fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a hockey fan. I'm a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
Why? Because I rep for Toronto. Now, the Leafs winning the cup, the city might not survive. Canada winning gold in men's basketball at the Olympics, that'd be really, really dope. I'd be interested to see like what the city would be like if that happened. Like, would people be going out to bars to watch the games? Wait, what time would that be at in Paris? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm interested what the vibes would be like for that if Canada made a run. I feel like people would be in bars, right? It wouldn't be packed. But you'd have selective spots where you could go to. But I mean, the Leafs winning the cup, come on, man. We just saw what happened when they won a first round series, man. Like, come on.
Okay, before we move on from this, one thing as the betting guy, Shelly, Paris 2024, I want the betting line on Canada finishing with a medal.
Yeah, Canada medals.
No. But what's the line?
I don't know, man.
Is it like minus? Or is it a minus?
There's too many other. No.
Plus?
It's not a minus. No. It's not a. It can't be a minus. It can't be a minus. I'm sure there might be lines already out, but I mean, the weird part about that is it all depends on who's playing and who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many things.
Right now,
I still think they should medal. The goal should be to medal, man. Like,
the goal
Canada
should be to medal. 100%.
Of course it should. That's why. Listen, man. this is why we're like, I know in a lot of this conversation, we're joking around, we're going for hyperbole and all that, but like in the reality of it, the reason why it's so important to win the medal at the World Cup is because you're setting a standard now, right? You're setting a standard that this is what your program is about. We want to win. We're about trophies. We're about medals. We're setting a standard that we walk into these tournaments expecting to win, not like waiting for, oh no, this is a collapse, you know? No, Shea got us. Shea's going to put the squad on his back and he's going to win the game. You're watching the other NBA guys. I bet you Wiggins is not going to miss the next World Cup of basketball. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to set the standard, and that's why that matters. So yeah, man, you're going to walk into that Olympics and they're going to want a medal. Like, if they don't medal, I guarantee you they're going to tell you that's a massive disappointment.
I don't know. I think it'll be pitched as it's another step in the progression of the program.
Nah, man.
Because medaling in the Olympics is really, really tough.
Medaling at the World Cup is really tough. What are we doing here, Webby? Come on, man.
It's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher than the Olympics. I could show you the two rosters of Team USA. One team did not medal in the FIBA World Cup. The other is almost guaranteed to medal in 2024.
There are more better teams in the World Cup than there are at the Olympics.
I disagree with that, just based solely on the roster of the USA.
What? That doesn't even make any sense. That's one team. I'm saying there's more better teams. So the US can be good in the World Cup and good in the Olympics, and there's still like 5 other teams that are good. But they're teams that
they'll all be
in the World Cup that won't be in the Olympics.
Right. I see what you're saying there. I just think it's
meaning it's harder to get out of the group stage. And if it's harder to get out of the group stage, then it's harder for you to medal. That's all I'm saying.
Simple math.
Quick maths. Speaking of quick maths, though, I know quickly we're running out of time here, though. The Jays playoff run, they're in the middle of a big series right now against Texas. Monday night was a weird one because it's a massive, massive series, but it was also the lowest attended game this season, which, like, I get it. It's a Monday night. School started. You know, it's tough to bring the kids out on a Monday night. I understand that, but at the same time, you're in a playoff push against a team that you need to win against. I get all that. But how are we feeling about the Jays right now?
For some reason, I think that Manoah story is actually way more intriguing than the Jays wildcard race. It's kind of weird.
Did they just send him home?
2 things. And I'm very carefully tiptoeing around this. This is a great example to me of like the difference in the media era that we're in right now. Because you're right, Timmy. This Alek Manoah story should be a way bigger deal.
But the media team covers the team, owns the team.
Yes. And so I wonder like how many things could be out there that we just really don't know about, because they sent him to AAA. He wasn't happy about it, and he never even reported to AAA. He never went for like the longest time. And so he's just not been doing anything involving the team. The AAA team needed the roster spot that he was taking up. So then that's why they made the move recently to move him to whatever the technical term is. You know, you're just not with the team, because they actually needed the roster spot that he was taking up, but not pitching. But he was mad that they sent him down and then he never showed up. That is a massive, massive story. And I will say there's a clip from a pod that we did way back when we talked about, do you bring him back up now? Because if you bring him back up now and he struggles and you have to send him back down, that's not going to go well. I feel like we said that on this pod, and now here we are, because this is not good at all, right?
Mm-hmm. You have to just tell him, man. Like, you just show him Doc Holliday, man. Just point to that banner, that Hall of Fame banner, and be like, dude, this guy went down.
Yeah. Not everybody has the mental fortitude of Philadelphia Phillies great Roy Halladay. You know what I mean?
Philadelphia Phillies great. Listen to this guy.
How many playoff games he win in Toronto?
That, bro.
How many playoff games he win in Toronto?
The point is, though, like, this is a generation.
How many no-hitters? How many perfect games he throw for the Blue Jays?
Listen, man, this is what I'm gonna say about this story, man. to me, this is a thing where if I'm the Blue Jays, you're like, I don't even understand Alek Manoah's point, right? Like, what is your argument? You pitched like crap. They sent you down. You came back up. You pitched like crap again. And then on top of that, they had other options to go to, right? Like when Ryu comes back and he's pitching well and you're not, you're the odd man out. It's not like they're struggling with their pitching staff. And so they could have used you and, they could have thrown you in games. No, they had 5 starters that were pitching really well, really, really well, especially in the second half of the season. So if you're not holding up your weight, you're saying you want to go to the bullpen and they should just let you work. Like you'd rather be in the bullpen and work it out as like a long form, like you're the long man in the bullpen. Like that's what you wanted to do. Like, why wouldn't you want to go down, figure your shit out, pitch really well, and then try to challenge one of these guys to be back in the rotation and help your team? Like, it's the most selfish thing ever to go down and then not report. Now, mind you, I will say this. We are just hearing now, and the fact that we're hearing it now tells me that we're hearing it from the Blue Jay side. We don't really know what's gone on from his side, but I'll say this much. The fact that we don't know any of this is very weird. Very strange.
Shelly, Canada Olympic gold in 2024, or the Blue Jays win their 3rd World Series.
Oh, no, Canada Olympic gold.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Canada
the World
Olympic
Series.
gold.
You're taking
The Blue Jays. Here's the thing with this Blue Jays team, man.
You weren't around for the first 2, were you, Timmy?
I was a youngin. I was really.
I was 10. I was 10, and I still remember
8,
them.
9, or 9 and 10. Yeah.
Here's the thing though. The Jays, the crazy part about the Jays right now is that I can't picture them getting it together. Like they just seem like a mentally fragile team, if that makes sense. Like Bassett melting down on Monday night was just really weird. Like, okay, your whatever the pitch thing doesn't work anymore. Your little machine doesn't work. Okay, cool. How about you go back to the same way that you used to get pitches from your catcher for the last 100 years of baseball? Like that shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? To throw you off. I don't know. The Jays just make like too many dumb mistakes.
They're waiting for something bad to happen. They're waiting for something bad to happen the entire game.
Yeah, they took care of business against the crappy teams they just faced in terms of the Royals. And who'd they play before the Royals? The Rockies. Yeah, like they had a run against a bunch of crappy teams,
there,
right?
I think.
Cool, Webby, Bryce for Vlad.
I want Mike Trout.
You want
Mike Trout? Bring him home. Yeah. Angel said that he might be on the block. Bring him home.
That'd be nice.
Bryce and Trout in the same line, and Trey.
Yeah, but how could you get him? Like,
it's
sell the
baseball,
farm,
bro. It's baseball.
Sell the farm.
But you guys have that much money. Your owners have that much money that they would pay for it.
Yeah, we do. We just gave Trey all that money. We're ready to spend. We got that Comcast money, bro. No, I don't know if it is Comcast. But the owner wants to spend, and I think Trout might be like a.
Would he take a hometown?
Yeah.
You think he would?
Bro, think about how much he's saving in air travel to go from LA to Philly for these Eagles games.
It's true.
He just has to walk across the parking lot.
So I don't know anything about Mike Trout because
he's a boring guy.
Yeah.
But he hits baseball, so that's what I know.
But I'm saying, like, is he ever talked about playing in Philly or like coming home or like maybe one day?
There were rumblings before he signed this massive deal with the Angels that he signed not too long ago that was like, well, maybe if they could. And that was before we got the new owner.
Okay.
And so, I don't know, maybe. I saw that report and I was like, bring him home, baby. Bring him home. I'd get rid of Castellanos.
So let me ask you something. Do we see what's more likely, Mike Trout in Philly next season or Alek Manoah back with the Jays next season? The blow into the microphone again. Yeah.
It's definitely, I would say it's Mike Trout. I think that bridge is burned. I think that bridge is pretty much burned. It's tough to not show up for work for multiple weeks and then it's all good.
I'm going to say this, and this might come off as an old man, get off my lawn there's vibes from Alec Manoa and Scotty Barnes here that's telling me about a generational kid stuff where like you
too much success,
too much too soon. You end up all up in the videos too soon, and now you think you're the man. And when someone has to tell you that, yo, you still got to put in work, and we got to win games, and you got to be improving, you don't really want to hear that.
Shelly, sometimes those guys come into work, and you just have to look the other way, you know.